Alrighty, so last week we talked about calories and carbohydrates. If you have not heard about either of those things, hop back to the last video. Where we ended last week, we were defining a simple sugar. And we'd already defined this. This should be in your notes. You remember, please take notes as you can use them on quizzes and tests. So that makes your life 1,000 times easier if you just, write things down. Remember, a simple sugar is a carbohydrate that can't be broken down without changing the structure. It's the building block of carbohydrates. So what are some examples of carbohydrates? First of all, I want to backtrack just a half a second. So we did calories, we started carbohydrates. We're going to finish talking about carbohydrates and also talk about proteins in this video. So those are our two big topics. So remember, we had three overarching types of carbohydrates. Monosaccharides, mono means one, they have one simple sugar. Disaccharides, di means two, they have two simple sugars combined. And polysaccharide, poly means many. So these are long chains, long groups of simple sugars. So there are three monosaccharides that you're going to hear about a fair amount. There are more monosaccharides than just this, but these are probably the most common ones. Glucose, fructose, and galactose. So those are three monosaccharides. And disaccharides, they're going to be made up of those monosaccharides. So for example, sucrose, which is table sugar. So if you just go into your cupboard and pull out that 10-pound bag of white sugar, that's sucrose. Sucrose is just glucose plus fructose. Lactose, which is in milk, you've probably heard of people being lactose intolerant. That's glucose plus galactose. And last but not least, maltose is glucose plus a glucose. So it doesn't have to be two different monosaccharides to make a disaccharide. It's just two monosaccharides that are combined together to make a disaccharide. Now, the other one we talked about is a polysaccharide. So polysaccharides are usually called fiber. A lot of times when you hear about fibers, you hear about it making you more regular. And that's because we can't really digest fiber. As humans, we can't really break it down. Other animals can. Cows can, horses can. Other animals have ways to break down fiber. Humans don't. If you've seen Hank Green's TikTok, no, you can't eat grass, don't eat grass. I think he was way overly dramatic. You can totally eat grass. It's not going to, kill you. I wouldn't eat large amounts of it. It's just you're not able to digest it. You're just going to poop it back out. And that's because it's high in cellulose. Cellulose is what makes the cell walls of plants. So why do you need it? Because you do need fiber. First of all, it adds texture to food. That makes it more palatable. It makes it more enjoyable. It's also used as filler. A lot of people on diets will have lots of fiber because it'll fill them up. And they aren't really getting any calories from it, so it makes them feel full, and they're not gaining weight from it. It also helps clean the system, so it helps make you regular. It helps make you poop. It will go through because it doesn't break down. It goes through your digestive tract and helps clean it out so that everything exits your digestive tract. So that ends carbohydrates. We're going to quick zoom through some proteins. There's only 3 or 4 slides, but they're more dense slides, so you'll probably have to pause, considering we're just, as I said, going to zoom through them. So the purpose of proteins. The big thing is they build and repair body tissue. When you are working out, when you are exercising, you're often told, make sure you eat a lot of protein. That's because you need that protein to build and repair those muscles. They also maintain cell growth. Even if you're done growing, you're still growing your cells. They're still multiplying. They're still making new ones. And if you are growing, it's even more important because, you're growing. You need lots and lots of cells. It'll also aid in the formation of enzymes, hormones, and antibodies. I think antibodies is the one that we've talked about most recently, just because of, we're kind of in this pandemic thing. But when you're sick, proteins are super important because they will help your immune system fight off that disease. They do provide some energy, however, that's not their main purpose. It's more when carbohydrates and fats are not supplying enough of that energy. Proteins will supply some of it, but it's not their main purpose. As we said, if we remember back towards the beginning, proteins have 4 calories per gram, just like carbohydrates have 4 calories per gram. It's just your body doesn't break them down in the same way, and they don't use them the same way. Carbohydrates and fats are first used for energy before proteins are. So what are proteins made of? Well, they're made of amino acids, long chains of amino acids. And there's 2 types. There's one that we care about, and there's one that we care about much, much, much less. Essential amino acids are the ones that we care about more. Must be obtained from the diet. So you have to eat these essential amino acids for your body to get them. Non-essential, inessential amino acids, you don't have to eat. Your body makes them. So we don't have to worry about them as much. We don't think about them because your body takes care of it. But the essential amino acids you do have to eat. For humans, there are 9 essential amino acids. The number of essential amino acids varies per species. Humans just happen to be 9. I'm not going to make you memorize which 9 or anything, but no, there's 9. So there are 2 types of... So we had, amino acids, there's essential and inessential. Proteins, there's complete and incomplete. A complete protein will have all 9 of our essential amino acids. These are usually animal-based proteins. So think your meat. If you eat meat, you really don't have to think much about complete and incomplete proteins because you're getting all of your amino acids from that meat. However, if you're a vegetarian, you do have to be more aware because there are incomplete proteins. So they're missing essential amino acids. And these tend to be plant-based proteins. And it's not that you can't get all of your needed amino acids from plants. You just have to be very aware of your diet. You have to know what complementary proteins are. So you have to look at what you're eating. And you have to look at what amino acids it has and eat something that has the amino acids that you're missing. So plants that together have all the essential amino acids are what complementary proteins are. Pause if you got to write this down. And that ends our protein talk. So as I said, proteins was relatively short. We kind of zoomed through that. Sometime eventually, I don't know when, we'll talk about fats and lipids as kind of our last of our big. We'll probably talk a little bit about water too. But anyway, as I said, that ends today. Have a super fabulous day, and I will see you tomorrow.